Hi, Chibi Nickel here during a unseasonably warm October here in Newfoundland. It's like 20 plus degrees outside. But anyway, the Kraft pizza sauce recipe. I made this video 5 years ago and it's getting close to 10,000 views. Thank you very much. But lately, I've been looking at the comments and I got one that really stood out to me. Odyssey, shout out to Odyssey for this. Been using tomato paste until today. I tried it with tomato soup. Much closer. So in the comments, I've been interacting with Odyssey, asking any changes in measurements or anything. And the reply I got was you use the full can of tomato soup. Now, when I was making the sauce back in the day, I was trying to go by the ingredients on the box and I try to make it as from scratch as possible. But here's the thing though, like I would never have guessed tomato soup. However, it does make sense though. Reason for that is, let's face it, the Kraft pizza sauce, the original one, was probably processed to high heaven. So tomato soup is also a processed product. So you know what? I had to try this. I had to, you know what? It's more important than ever to get the sauce right. Because now when you buy the Kraft pizza kits, the sauce is different. It doesn't have the orangey look to it, which to me is not that important. But the taste, oh my God, the taste is flat. It sucks. It's like, no. But I've been playing around with this idea and I think I got it. So let's head into the kitchen and I will show you how to make the new and improved Odyssey inspired Kraft pizza sauce. The seasoning ingredients will be the same. We're going to have oregano leaves, basil leaves. While the soup already has salt and sugar added to it, we will still be adding it anyway. I made a batch without it as a test, and it still did not have the zing, so I did put them back in. In the original written recipe, I had a full teaspoon and a half of sugar, but that will be reduced in this version. We will also be using garlic and onion powder. In the original version, I did use actual minced garlic and onion, but that was because I was going for the from scratch approach. But on the Kraft box, it did say dehydrated garlic and onion, and I have used these powders when I make the original recipe, especially when I make it in large amounts of the bottle, so I assure you it tastes just fine. We will have our 1/4 cup of canola oil, and of course we have our tomato soup. We will be using the full can. I am using Campbell's soup, however, I have used the Elmer brand and it still comes out great. So use any brand you want, but given the choice, I'd go with the Campbell soup. This next part is optional and it has nothing to do with taste. You can add cornstarch to help with the color or the thickness of the sauce if you feel it's too thin. Cornstarch is listed as an ingredient on the Kraft box, but I did not use it because it wasn't something that had affected the taste, so the same rule applies here. If you do use it, make it as a slurry in a separate bowl of about 1 teaspoon of hot water and 1/4 teaspoon of cornstarch. Too much will make the sauce really thick when it's cooled. Alright, we're going to pour in the full can of tomato soup. Originally, I used 1 cup of water, but for this version, I will be filling half of the can with water. It doesn't have to be precise, just so long as it's around the halfway mark. It's not picky. Just be sure to stir up the water so we can get the remainder of the soup to pour in. Add the canola oil. Now for our seasonings, it's half a teaspoon of each and give it a good stir. Now this was the tricky part. In the old version, I used a teaspoon of lime juice or half a teaspoon of lemon juice because it's stronger. But this time I'll be adding a whole tablespoon. This gives the soup the tangy taste. But if you want just a little more, you can add a half a teaspoon on top of it. Once mixed up, you bring the sauce to a boil and reduce heat to a simmer and cover for 30 minutes and be sure to stir it on occasion. If the sauce is too thin, you can uncover it and let it simmer for an additional 10 minutes or so for some of the water to evaporate. The longer you simmer on cover, the thicker it gets, and I'll show you what I mean. So here are the 2 separate batches I made the night before, and both have the tiny cornstarch slurry added. This first one I allowed to simmer uncovered for close to 30 minutes, and as you can see, once completely cooled, the sauce is quite thick. This second one was simmered for about 10 to 15 minutes and you can really see the difference. It's important to simmer while covered so that all the flavor seep through, and then you can simmer uncovered for about 5 minutes or so that not too much water evaporates because this can affect the flavor. So there you go, we have the Kraft pizza sauce recipe the sequel. So if you're looking to have the more from scratch approach to making the sauce, you can go with the original recipe. If you want to make the more processed version, which is more accurate to what Kraft would have done, go with the sequel. Now, of course, like all things you make with seasoning and spices, the sauce comes out a lot better if once it cools down, you just put in a container, put it in the fridge, leave it overnight, and then use it on your pizza or pasta. I took a bottle of stuff and I put it in pasta. Oh, it's so good, so good. So yes, for more accuracy, leave it overnight, put it on whatever you want, and you will not regret it. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming to my kitchen. And this is Jimmy Echo signing out. Bye.